All right, so who we are at Arena. Um, we consider ourselves as a progressive talent pipeline, and Academy is that first step in the progressive talent pipeline. So through Arena Academy, we equip the next generation of campaign staff with the skills, knowledge, and tools to build winning campaigns and movements. Arena Academy is for anyone who wants to learn how to work on a democratic campaign. And again, we consider applicants at all levels of campaign experience, including those of you who are looking to switch industries. So at Academy, we'll teach you everything you need to get started working on a campaign or to level up your skills and achieve a new role if this isn't your first time getting involved in the world of electoral campaigns. And the greatest thing is that in the process, you'll get to know people from around the country who are also hungry to get involved, who are also in this work. And you get to learn from seasoned campaign experts. We recruit and invest in a diverse pool of graduates and really work to prepare you for life on campaigns through that engagement with our best-in-class trainers and through connecting you to opportunities post-academy, which I'll speak to now. So the second step in this pipeline is Arena Careers. And this is our platform for career opportunities on campaigns and in progressive organizations. We help make those connections through one-on-one coaching, through resume review. Since 2019, we've had over 2,000 graduates from Arena Academy fill staff roles on campaigns and in democratic organizations. So Arena Academy trained staffers have worked on high impact campaigns and organizations, anywhere from the 2020 Georgia runoffs, the 2020 presidential primaries, but also did work in Virginia, which I'll mention in a couple slides as well. Work at organizations like Act Blue, Fair Fight, Sunrise Movements. So important to know, after you attend Academy, you'll gain access to a variety of services and support through our talent program. So that's resume workshops, one-on-one coaching, networking, and a very important point, we offer recommendations when applying to jobs. And I see a question from Tara in the chat. Did I hear this right? Arena's target participant is people coming from other vocational backgrounds who haven't done much organizing. We do focus on bringing people into the space who might not have the experience, but we really train a variety, folks who've worked at a variety of level of campaigns. Many people will come to Arena having only volunteered on a campaign, and not having had like a paid staff role. Others will come to Academy, maybe having worked like a couple of cycles in field, and then they're looking to transition to a digital role. So they apply for a digital track to gain that experience. So it really varies. Raven, that's great. One of your old coworkers is in this photo. We'll love to see it. You're already a part of the community. So our third line of work is Arena Toolbox. We support campaign staffers with a collection of free tools, tutorials, and templates for building winning campaigns. So with our toolbox, we have over 60 tools and growing. And this is anywhere from free tools and guides to videos and podcasts that help practitioners like you learn to build these winning campaigns. So have a variety of levels of access points, depending on if you're an auditory learner, you might go to one of those podcasts or videos, but we have guides, we have worksheets. If you're a tactile learner, if you need to learn by doing, we have guides for that as well. And this could be anywhere from writing your campaign plan to a tool on paid media. And I dropped that link in the chat. if you want to go ahead and check out the toolbox. And the last thing I'll note about ARENA's work, we also have ARENA candidates. This is the work that we do to identify critical races with compelling candidates and provide the staff support they need to win. We most recently did this with our ARENA Virginia Staff Fellowship. We placed 7 ARENA Academy grads on key Virginia House of Delegate races, and most importantly, fully funded their salaries and their healthcare. So doing this work to identify key races in key states and make sure those races have the staff that they need to do this critical work. And coming to the reason you are all here, our ARENA Academy Austin. So excited to be coming back to Texas. We were last in Texas in Houston, coming to Austin this go around, and we'll be there June 8th through the 12th in Austin, Texas at the Austin Marriott South. And this audience is for current and aspiring campaign staff looking to level up their skills in 7 tracks. We will have around 200 participants in the Academy. And important key date to note, the deadline is quickly approaching. The deadline is this Sunday, 11:59 Eastern. So what happens at this Academy? Participants will take part in a immersive 5-day learning experience, selecting 1 of 7 tracks. I will go into those tracks a little further into the info session, but those tracks are campaign management, communications, data, digital, finance, organizing, and organizing director. The training is designed to help participants build their skills and knowledge and tools, and give you the tools that you need to drive winning campaigns and movements. And then what's really exciting is that the final 2 days of this Academy will actually be a summit where you'll break from the track work and we'll have a larger convening of community leaders and advocates from across the state of Texas. And again, who is this for? This is for anyone who wants to learn how to work on a democratic campaign. We'll have 200 participants, 200 plus. And the cost of this training is $300. I will go into scholarships. But we offer a range of needs-based scholarships. And yeah, we'll touch on this shortly. And then getting into the summit. So the summit will be the final 2 days of the Academy. So particularly June 11th and June 12th. Same details, they'll be in Austin at the same location. And so if you attend the Academy, you will also be registered to attend the summit. You don't have to do a separate registration for that. And for the summit, we will invite in activists, community leaders, elected officials, change makers. It's going to be a wider audience, so it'll be up to 400 or so attendees. And if you only want to attend the summit, the deadline to register will be June 1st. So you have a little bit more time to get signed up for that. But we'll say that spaces are going to remain open until all the available spots are filled. So if you plan to join for the summit, would register sooner rather than later to, just ensure we're able to hold your spot. And yeah, a bit more on the summit, because I know folks are probably more familiar with our academies, but ARENA actually started with these summits. In the wake of the 2016 election, we held our first gathering, which was this bringing together of activists, entrepreneurs, folks who have been have been in progressive politics for years, those who are new, who are looking for some way to respond to Trump's election, bringing them all together to kind of galvanize and think about what is the work that we want to do in the years ahead. And that is how Arena came to be. And we initially started with these summits before moving into our academy trainings, actually training staff to work on campaigns. So we're really excited to be re-engaging with this platform, to be doing another summit. And yeah, the summit is really going to provide an opportunity to make connections, to forge partnerships. At past summits, folks have announced their candidacy. They've met people that they've gone on to hire on their campaigns. So it's really an opportunity to get to network, to make connections, and then most importantly, imagine a new way forward to for the 2022 cycle, and yeah, thinking about the year ahead and the work ahead. So other important things to note about the summit: you'll have the chance to listen to speakers, attend trainings and workshops, and we'll have 3 areas of focus for the summit. And those areas of focus will be voting rights, reproductive rights, and environmental justice. So we'll have full group sessions that everyone attends, and then you'll be able to break into these different tracks, for lack of a better word, these different issue topics, to attend specific trainings or sessions or panels on one of these 3 issues. Yeah, last thing I'll note, it's a chance to reunite with people that you maybe haven't seen because we've had to be physically distant, and to really meet like-minded, passionate people. Super excited about this opportunity, the summit. We'll have 400 participants. The cost of attending just the summit, the 2 days at the end of the academy, is $150. We do offer a subsidized registration price of $50, and you'll be able to sign up for that on the website when you register for that, if that's what you would like to take advantage of. And then you can also sponsor a scholarship by paying the full $300 if you'd like. And then the last thing I'll note here, very excited that we are partnering with the Texas Democratic Party for this training. The folks who are really doing the work on the ground in Texas to elect progressives, who are doing the work to build long-term organizing infrastructure. We've partnered with them on this academy and summit to get folks trained in Texas. So really excited to have them helping us in recruitment, in partnership, and really helping to guide the work in Texas. So I will pause here and just see if there are any questions about the information I just shared before moving to the next section. And if you have a question, you can use the raise hand function, and I'll call on you. No? Okay.
Sarah has a question.
I can't find the raise hand function.
Oh, okay.
Thing. So
Hey.
if I heard it right, you've got like panels or like discussion breakout groups on environmental justice, reproductive rights, and voting rights, but we can only choose one of those 3 to attend?
At the summit, yes, we'll have those 3 issue topics: voting rights, reproductive rights, and environmental justice. And so you don't have to sign up in advance if you want to attend those sessions, but they will be happening at the same time. So you'll have to choose which room you want to attend.
Okay.
Cool. Daniel, hey.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. So how I'm a little bit confused as to which track to apply. What would you advise to choose a track for somebody?
Cool. Hold on to that question and I will do a breakdown of all the tracks.
Okay.
And then if you still have a question after that, happy to help you get into the particular.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
And Ramon, I will get into registration and scholarships in just a couple slides. Lovely. So we'll move on to this next section and yeah, please continue to ask questions in the chat as they come up. But an important thing to touch on in this reality that we live in is our COVID-19 policies and procedures for this academy. So starting with REI, respect, empower, include. This is one of the tenets we bring into all of our arena trainings. And, we're so excited to be back training in person, and we want to work hard to make a learning environment that's vibrant and productive for everyone who's attending. So respect, empower, include is an arena training norm that applies to our COVID-19 policies. We really think it's up to each of us to reduce the risk of COVID for ourselves, but also for everyone who is attending, and our trainers and our volunteers and our staff who are devoting their time to put on this training. So we've all been through a lot over the past 2 years, and COVID has impacted us in different ways. And we also recognize that folks are approaching COVID in different ways. So I say all this to just ask that you navigate the time together in Austin with compassion and patience for each other and for yourselves. And that will ask that you respect these policies for yourself, for our fellow participants. And we'll ask that you, if you're accepted to the training, we'll ask that you sign a waiver that you've read all of our policies. But I think important to note that there's nothing to sign to apply. You don't have to submit a vaccine card to apply or anything like that. We'll ask you a question about vaccines on the application. But otherwise, please feel free to go ahead and apply. And yeah, really feel that together we can keep each other and ourselves safe and use the time together to train and to win. So Arena requires attendees to be fully vaccinated and to have a booster shot against COVID-19 at least 2 weeks prior to the start of the event. So if you are accepted to Academy and Summit, during the registration, we'll ask you to confirm your vaccination and booster status. If you're only attending Arena Summit, we'll collect proof of vaccination via that same secure web portal when you register. And we'll just ask you for a photo of your vaccine card during registration, and we don't keep the information. We are allowing accommodations for religious, medical, or other reasons. And we will consider each of those on a case-by-case basis. So if you're accepted to the training and you start to register, you'll come to the point in the registration where we ask for your vaccine card. At that point, that's where you reach out to Arena. If you would like to request an exemption, we'll send you an exemption form and we'll ask you to return it. The medical exemption form does require the signature of a doctor or a medical official who has approved this exemption. And once you get that back to us and it's been approved, you'll be able to complete the registration process. Okay, so additional details. And all of this is on our website, where you can find the most up-to-date information. But important things to know, we'll ask that you wear a mask, and that's regardless of the guidelines in the state of Texas. And that's also regardless of the guidelines within the Marriott. So if you're in our Arena Academy rooms, we will ask that you be masked. Please bring your own masks. We'll have a limited supply there, and we're going to provide those, on a first come, first serve basis. And the usual things. Masks can be removed during meals, during snack breaks. But we're gonna try to provide different options so that you can be distanced if you need to. I know in June in Austin, it can already be like so hot. So hopefully we haven't reached that yet by the time we get down there. But we'll encourage folks to eat meals outside as well. So exposures, anyone who's been exposed to COVID or is tested positive within 10 days prior to the event may not attend. We will have a daily screening questionnaire for you to fill out, and we'll have rapid tests on hand should anyone begin to feel unwell. And attendees who test positive on the rapid tests will need to isolate for the remainder of the event. If you test negative on the rapid tests, you'll be permitted to continue, and we'll just ask that you take another test should you need to, or should you continue to feel unwell. So let's see. I want to make sure I covered everything. Yeah. So Arena may update these procedures at any time. In response to changes. And yeah, our website is the best place to keep up to date on that information. But if you have any questions, if you have like a particular situation that you would like to address, feel free to email us at hello@arena.run, and we're happy to answer that. So I'm going to pause once more and just check. Still coming to the scholarship and to the lodging. Haven't forgotten about that. So will not being boosted or vaccinated work against me being able to attend? Am I at the bottom of the list or just excluded because of that? No, so we're not factoring in vaccination into any of our decisions. When you start the application, there'll be a space for you to let us know that you're either boosted and vaccinated, or you'll have the option to tell us that you're not boosted and vaccinated and that you plan to request a religious or medical exemption. The only way you will not be able to complete an application is if you tell us that you are not boosted and vaccinated and that you don't plan to request any sort of exemption. That will just take you to the end of the application. But if you aren't boosted or vaccinated, we'll just ask you to complete those forms. But again, not taking that into consideration when we're looking at these applications. The policies include that we can't hang out with each other in our rooms. Do we need to stay in roommate pods? No, we won't be policing that. Also, if you get a scholarship that includes hotel, they're single rooms. So you won't be rooming with anyone. We won't be like putting you in close quarters with anyone else. But aside from that, we're adults here in this space. We're not gonna police your time, and we want you to connect with people. So we'll just ask you to remember that REI, respect and power, include. And then what proof is required for religious exemption? I can't remember particularly what is on the form, but towards the end when we get to Q&A, I could try to pull that up for you and get the particulars for that. So getting to that important part that I know you have many questions on, travel and scholarship. So participants are expected to pay for travel and accommodations at the location in Austin. So we won't have a hotel block at the hotel that is hosting the event. Once folks are accepted, we will add you to a Slack channel. Many people will pair up with someone else and to save money and find a roommate, find local accommodations. But we'll also give you a list of various hotel options that are close with varying prices. And then there'll be lunch provided every day except for the first day. That's because the training starts after the lunch hour. But then aside from that, we'll have lunch every day. Snacks and coffee will be provided throughout the day. And you'll just be on your own for breakfast and dinner. And scholarships. So 2/3 of Academy participants receive some form of scholarship. And we offer a range of need-based scholarships. So that'll range from covering registration fees to, you might get a scholarship for registration and travel. If you get a full scholarship, that'll be registration, travel, and hotel. And we collect information on job status, household responsibility, income brackets, to assess that need and how many scholarships we can offer. So it's not a separate application. Once you start the Academy application, there will be a section where you can share more about your scholarship needs. So just answering as honestly as possible. We don't factor in the need for a scholarship into our decisions. So if you need a scholarship, please tell us, and be as honest as you'd like to be about your needs, and we will offer as many scholarships as we're able to. And then if you have any questions as you consider, again, you can always feel free to email us at hello@arena.run. Or, if you started an application, you've probably received a text from me. That's also a great way to answer particular questions about scholarships. I'll quickly pause again here before we get into the application itself to see if there are any questions. Great. So for this next section, we're going to get into the application itself. And this is where I'll cover the 7 different tracks and what you might consider when thinking about which to apply for. So first and foremost, we recommend completing the application in one sitting. If you have all the materials prepared, it shouldn't take you longer than 15 minutes to complete. You can close the application and come back to it, but you have to save the link, you have to save the URL, and you can return back to it and it'll save your responses, but it'll only save them up to 15 days. It'll only save them in the same device and in the same browser, so like not in incognito mode or private browsing mode. So because of those couple asterisks on saving the application and coming back, we just recommend having it already in one go, plugging it in, and getting the application complete. So you can prepare this in advance. You'll submit either a short video, 3 minutes or less, or a written response that is 500 words or less. It's your choice. I tell folks to use the platform where you feel most comfortable talking about yourself and like sharing your story. So for some of us, that might be video. We might want to just, get it out and express ourselves in that way. Or maybe you thrive and excel with a written statement. We don't favor one over the other. So again, just whichever one you're most comfortable with. And then we'll ask for a copy of your current resume. We will love you if you submit a PDF. But if you don't have that ready to go, you're also able to submit a Word doc or Pages doc. But again, I'll say we love a PDF. If you don't have a formal resume, that's okay. In lieu of submitting a resume, we'll just ask that you submit a couple words telling us about your experience, your work experience in your own words. Again, recommend preparing all of this in advance so you could simply plug it in when you sit down to complete your application. And aside from the resume and the prompt response, you should be able to handle the rest of the application without any prior preparation. So as I mentioned, this is the part of the application where we'll ask you about complying with our COVID policy. And these are the different options that you'll have to select from. Again, the only option that will kick you out of the application itself is if you tell us you don't plan to be vaccinated and that you won't be requesting an exemption. And then we collect some biographical information. And we ask for this information just because it helps us to create a balanced cohort across race, gender, location, socioeconomic level. It's wanting to build these cohorts that are intersectional and representative of the diversity of the communities that you all are working in. So you should have the option to move through some of these questions or select other if there's something you're not comfortable answering. But we collect this information just so we were able to create those balanced cohorts. So getting into tracks. You'll be asked to select a first and second choice track. And the important thing to note here is that you can apply, if you apply to 2 tracks, or you just select the same track for track 1 and track 2, or you just select 1 track and don't select a second track. It doesn't increase or decrease your chances of acceptance. So again, this is one of those places where we want to just hear honestly about what you're interested in learning, and why you're interested in participating in those tracks. So bring the thoughtfulness there. Of note, you won't be able to switch tracks once you've been assigned a track. And that's because we take a lot of care in balancing our tracks, making sure we have enough room for within each of the tracks. So we might make an exception if, for example, you were accepted into the organizer track and then you got hired as a finance assistant on a campaign and you've never done that before. We'll move you over into the finance track. Otherwise, we might put you on a wait list for a track if you don't get your first choice track and you rather stay in your first choice track. We just ask that you be communicative with us and we'll try to work with you to get you in the place where you should be. And going to go over our tracks here. And I want to just drop into the chat here as well that you can find these track breakdowns at arena.run. But I'm going to give you a general overview of each of these tracks. So in the campaign manager track, you'll gain the foundational knowledge you need to run a smart progressive campaign. We'll walk you through every part of a campaign, from creating a pathway to victory, to budget, to finance, to communications. In this track, you might get sessions on polling and budget and cash flow. You might get training on paid media. Because it does assume a basic knowledge of campaigns, it is one of 2 tracks that we ask that you bring some prior campaign experience. So you don't have to have been a campaign manager before, but you've worked on a campaign and you kind of like know the environment. And then we'll also consider other relevant transferable experience on a case-by-case basis. Well, the communications track, this is really great for those of you who might identify as storytellers, because this track really focuses on telling the story of the candidates whose race you are working on, telling the story of what's happening on the campaign to the press. So you'll get sessions on research-based messaging, on working with the press, on prepping your candidates, that sort of thing. One of the tracks that I think, if you're creatively minded, that this is a good one to go into. Also a great one if you love working with words, if you identify as a speechwriter, that sort of thing. Our data track, you're going to learn the necessary technical skills needed to analyze large data sets in an electoral campaign context. You'll take sessions on Google Studio, on SQL, on targeting theory. This is a track where you get to do some sessions with the campaign managers and with the organizing directors as well. This is really fun. You get the opportunity to write a line of code. Very often, it is a lot of people's first line of code. So you don't need to have any previous data or coding experience for this track. We like to say, just bring a little bit of curiosity and a passion for learning, and you'll excel here. Our digital track, this is another great one if you want to bring a lot of creativity to the work that you're doing. In the digital track, you'll gain the know-how and skills to build and run a digital program. There's a big emphasis on digital ads. So you'll get a full day's training on different components of digital ads, but also learning digital fundraising, digital organizing, how to run an email program. This is one of those tracks that's going to be super relevant to all aspects of a campaign. And I think one of the tracks where there's so much overlap from other industries of the skills that you might bring from other work that you do. So great for digitally minded campaigners and non-digital roles to level up their digital know-how. And again, newcomers with transferable skills. The finance track, you'll learn how to cultivate donors, manage call time, and make a strong fundraising ask and raise money online. We like to tell people finance is often the first role that's hired on a campaign. Campaigns are always looking for a finance person, so you'll be able to put this track to work very quickly. You'll cover strategy and details of how to run a successful finance department. You'll have sessions on finance or on fundraising events, on projecting income, on how to make an ask and call time. This is great for those of you who want to build those high-powered networks. I also like to say this is another great track for aspiring campaign managers, especially if you're looking to be well-rounded and have that really great know-how of different components of running a campaign. So organizer track, I'm a little biased because I'll be your track lead on the organizer track. So definitely apply for this one. The organizers, we learn how to develop and manage a team of volunteers to amplify the campaign's message and to move voters to the polls to vote for your candidate. So we have sessions on telling your personal story, on organizing culturally inclusive campaigns, managing your volunteer program. This is an excellent track if you're brand new to politics and looking for a place to start. This is also a great track if you're moving from some other sort of organizing space. So if you do movement organizing, maybe you organize in your local mutual aid organization, or you're moving or working in some sort of advocacy organizing as well. And lastly, our organizing director track. So this is where you're going to learn how to target voters. Again, this is like one of those tracks where you get to work with the data track, which is the fun thing about the organizer director track and the CM track. You'll get to build voter universes, establish metrics and goals, manage a team of organizers to persuade and turn out voters. So yeah, you can expect sessions on preparing to adjust, on relational organizing, establishing metrics, setting goals. And again, this is one of our tracks that has some prerequisites. It assumes a little bit of a basic knowledge of organizing. So for this track, you must have at least one cycle as an organizer. That can be on a campaign, or it can be in the advocacy space, it can be in a community-based organization. But knowing that you're coming to the organizing director track with some experience of what it means to organize people. So that's an overview of our tracks. I see the question in the chat, will we be able to access resources for other tracks regardless of the track we choose? No, you will not. So we send out materials to the different tracks. So if you're in the organizing director track, you'll get the resources for the organizing director track. If you're in the data track, you'll get the resource for the data track. You're welcome to, make friends with someone in the data track and, learn from their notes and the resources they received. But we don't send out the information to different tracks. And for the sessions everyone takes, there are plenary sessions the full group participates in. Everyone will get those resources. Well, so I'm going to move to this next section so that we can get to questions and want to save time for that as well. So please hold on to those questions, continue to drop them in the chat, and I'll answer them as we go. So the application will also ask, what's the best, give us a sense of your post-academy goals. Are you looking to gain employment on a campaign? Are you already working on a campaign? No trick questions here. Answer honestly. We ask this because our careers team really works diligently to understand where everyone who participates in our academy is, where they are in their career journey. And this is kind of the beginning of that, of us getting a sense of what you see for yourself post-academy. And then this is a section where you'll answer questions on scholarship, which we covered. But again, the reminder that we don't factor scholarship need into our decision making. So answer honestly. Let us know how we can support you attending Academy. And so the next section is a chance to introduce yourself, tell us a bit more about your commitment to working on a campaign. This is our prompt responses. So we have one prompt response. This is where you're going to submit that 500-word statement or that 3-minute video. And the prompt response is, what has inspired you to get involved in campaigns and attend Arena Academy? We have your resume. So use this as an opportunity to elaborate on your experience, your story, and why you want to work on a race. We have a second optional question here. That's what's something we should know about you that we can't learn from your resume. It's optional, and you don't have to answer the second question, but just a space for us to get to know a bit more about you. No trick questions, just want you to express who you are and why you want to do this work. Oh, Tara, I'm so sorry. That FAQ link shouldn't be linking to questions about Zoom. I'll get you the right link because this academy is happening in person in Austin, not on Zoom, for clarity. I will get you that link for the Austin FAQ as we close. So what makes a good prompt response? It tells us why this work is important to you. You have those 500 words or 3 minutes. So use the space to thoroughly respond to the prompt response. We want you to demonstrate that you put thought into your answers, that you've reflected on your campaign experience and where you'd like to go next. Basically, we're looking for more than like a 1 or 2 line response here. We're hoping that you will thoroughly respond to the question in whatever space of that 500 words you'd like to use. It demonstrates what you uniquely bring. So tell us a bit about your story. What have you learned on campaigns thus far? What knowledge are you bringing into this space? Based on your experience thus far, how would you like to build on that? What knowledge would you like to gain from Academy? That sort of thing. So we get a sense of where you are in your journey. And then it tells us what you plan to do with this training. So a good prompt response demonstrates intention. So we want to hear about your intentions about how you intend to use this training. So are you planning to work on a race in the 2022 midterms? Are you looking to organize locally in McAllen or in Houston, wherever you might be? Are you already in a progressive organization and looking to put those skills to use in your work there? Whatever that might be, telling us, the skills you hope to gain, how you intend to use those skills to affect progressive work. And if you bring that intention forward, your application will really stand out to us. So that said, really look forward to reading all of your responses and putting that intention into the prompt response so that when we're reviewing, we have a strong sense of who you are. That said, wanted to share an actual prompt response that someone has submitted. And I can read this out loud. So, as a naturalized Filipina American, I know how crucial it is to defend the voting and human rights of all communities, especially those that are ignored and invisible in data, policies, and politics. In my experience with the path to citizenship and access to healthcare, I believe that having a government that looks like us, by us, for us, ensures that we can achieve opportunity, equality, progress on progressive issues, and a fair fight against corruption. I would love to learn more regarding organizing and digital programs for a campaign. My ultimate goal is to reach out to my fellow Filipino Americans that are often invisible in data. Often Filipino Americans are labeled as Latinos, bringing language barriers and ineffective messaging. So this is someone who was accepted to our digital track. And what I love to point out is, first of all, this is this applicant's full application. They told us a little bit about their personal story. She connects her work back to her lived experience as a Filipino American and how that's affected her view on voting rights and human rights. Here below, she also demonstrates her intention on how she wants to use this training. She tells us what skills she hopes to gain and where she's hoping to put the skills to use. And again, this is a full application. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of a sense of what we're looking for when we are reviewing these applications. And then for video response, I'll just hit play on this so you can get a sense of what we're looking for from a video.
Hi, my name is Jordan Chapman. I'm an organizer from Atlanta, and I would love to join the Arena Academy in the spring. And so I'm going to let you guys know a little bit more about myself and about why I work in campaigns, and also something that you guys don't know about me. So I started working on campaigns when I was in college. The first was the Autop campaign when he ran for Congress in 2017. And that wasn't really my first experience with campaigns, but it was my first paid actual role outside of baby canvasser. And so I started working on campaigns, and what inspired me to do this program and apply for it, honestly, was my parents. My parents are both doctors. They are the most amazing people I know, and they both took a lot of pride in their work and made sure that it always served people. And that was something I wanted to take with me into campaigns, because oftentimes campaigns lose touch of the people in terms of they want to win. And I really focused on organizations and campaigns that honestly focused on people-centered organizing. That's something I've always focused on, something that I love doing, and I have no regrets doing that. And so that inspired me to work on campaigns, because I saw what the OSOP team was doing and how they were going about their organizing program, and that was something I knew I needed to be a part of. In terms of joining the Arena Academy, I really wanted to join because I want to bring that into a campaign manager or an organizer position, because I want to make sure that candidates are for the people and that they always serve the people. And by doing this, I know that I can learn so many amazing things in order to take that into any role I have in the future. And I am excited to shake the table and explore new things, learn new things, because I think sometimes campaigns feel very difficult to move up in the world, and it feels like you can't possibly grow outside of the field you're in. But I really want to take the experiences I have, put them all together in this program, and really move towards becoming a campaign manager for any number of candidates, whether that's congressional, whether it's state and local. I would love the opportunity to be a part of this program in March and to really show everybody that campaigns are about the people and for the people. Thank you. Bye.
Cool. So she was accepted into our campaign manager track. And I think the important note here is that, as you can see, it was not highly produced. So your video doesn't have to have
Hi, my name is Jordan
extra bells
Chapman.
and
I'm an
whistles
organizer
on
from
it.
Atlanta.
There we go. Doesn't have to have any extra bells and whistles on it. It doesn't have to be highly produced. It can be just straight to camera. So don't worry about putting too much effort into, sending over a highly polished package to us. So last couple notes. When will you hear from us? The application is open now. It is due this Sunday. You will hear back from us in that next week. We will send out admissions notifications on Monday, April 25th. If you're accepted to the wait list, you will hear from us from between May 2nd to the 16th. And basically how the waitlist works is that once we've received all registration from folks who were initially admitted, we'll begin to review the waitlist and to send out rolling notifications. So we will ask that you fill out our waitlist form please respond to any outreach from our team asking if you're still interested in attending. In the waitlist form, there's space for you to let us know if you've had any key developments. So, if you've gotten a new job since you applied, or you got a promotion that, makes it more urgent for you to attend the academy, would love to hear that information. Otherwise, we'll ask that you hang tight once you've completed out the waitlist form, and we'll let you know of our final decision by May 16th. And then, the waitlist isn't ranked. We don't factor in the need for scholarship. So following that first deadline for those admitted to the academy, we'll begin to review, and we'll try to let you know if you're admitted from the waitlist as promptly as possible. And then what if you don't get accepted? There's a couple reasons. Not sharing how you'd like to use the training, indicating that you don't intend to work on campaigns or in the progressive space at all. So sometimes folks will apply and they'll be like, I'm just curious about, working in this space, but I don't really know if I want to. We might prioritize someone who has that clear intention of how they like to use the training over someone who we're not sure will put the training to use. And then if you're highly experienced, so if you have like 10 years of experience and you don't indicate to us why this training would make a difference in your career trajectory, we might put you on the wait list or not accept you. Because one of the things about Arena and Academy is we do want it to be an entry point for folks who might not otherwise get this opportunity. And with that, apply. I can say in general that, the application's quite competitive. We get a lot of applications, but we work really hard to create an equitable process to be able to admit as many people as possible. So many people apply, maybe we'll get chosen in that first round, they'll get waitlisted and then we'll get in. Or, maybe they don't get accepted and they get into the next academy that they apply for. So just know that this isn't your only shot. But we encourage applying to get a sense of what we're looking for, and to just begin to get this conversation going with Arena. And with that, I'm going to stop my screen share, and I am going to open it up to questions. And of note, this is where I will pause our recording in case some of you don't feel comfortable having your question recorded. Give me one moment and I will pause.